You know what's funny about that is that every time I play that, my wife says, I ask her, do you know what song that is? And she'll say, yeah, that's that song that you like. She don't even know what it really is, but she's just saying that's the song I like. And that's just what that is. Willie Epteen Jr. Shakeback Sports Show, Big Game, Christian Sports Network. Thank you guys out there for checking us out on Facebook for my personal page, for the Big Game Christian Sports Network's page, for the Shakeback Media Group's page, also on LinkedIn and YouTube. And you know we can't leave out Twitter. Steamrolling 8,500 goats on the Twitter. Thank you very much, man, for you guys out there rocking with us in the land of Twitter and through all social media platforms. Make sure you go out there and subscribe to the YouTube channel, as well as hit the follow button on Twitter as well. And make sure you go and like and follow the pages as previously indicated. All right, we got some more stuff to get into, man. We talked about the unfortunate incident that has taken place in Memphis, Tennessee, with the death of an unarmed black man. However, these circumstances are a lot different from what we have talked about in the past. So rest in peace and prayers up to the family and all those that are affected. I just want to say one other thing about that before we actually move on to the Dallas Cowboys, or really the NFL as a whole. Let's keep that same energy, ladies and gentlemen. Let's keep that same energy when it comes to finding enough evidence to quickly not only just terminate these types of officers, and I don't care what color you are, black, white, brown, green, blue, turquoise, rainbow, sunkist, doesn't matter to me. I don't care. But let's keep that same energy whenever we have that take place, when these officers, counterparts of a different shade or a lighter shade than we are, or that I am, and this incident happens then. So let's continue to lift everyone up in prayer that has been affected by that. It is an unfortunate and terrible situation there in the city of Memphis. And here we go again. And let me just touch on this real quick, too, because I didn't talk about this in the first segment. But the amount of mass shootings that have taken place in the United States already, only on the fourth weekend of the year as of tape time, it's nothing short of astounding. And, you become a little bit, or really a lot of bit, immune to it whenever we were first exposed to these events. Everybody was up in arms, and I'm not by any way diminishing the importance or the significance or the tragic situation and the tragic nature of it. All I'm saying is that it has happened so much to where it's not even where we're leading, or at least for me anyway, I'm not leading a show with that, but I'm still leading a show with some tragedy in a different form, but yet in the same form. Okay. Before we move any further, though, we got to pay these bills, man. I almost forgot about that, man. Big Day's going to kill me. This second segment, it is being brought to you by Sideline Sports Grill. It's the hottest spot in Southern Oklahoma. I'm talking about Sideline Sports Grill at 2015 Thompson Square in Ardmore, Oklahoma. Come out and enjoy their delicious Hall of Fame wings, MVP sandwiches, all-star burgers, their signature Sidelines pretzels, fan favorite desserts, motley mixtures, and so much more. Open Wednesdays through Mondays from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Stop on by the new Sideline Sports Grill, 2015 Suite 2D as in Delta, Thompson Square, Ardmore, Oklahoma, for more, or for some excellent food, some awesome atmosphere, and remember, you don't need any credentials to be at the sidelines. So, all right. I want to look, there's so many things that I want to talk about in the world of the NFL. Of course, we've had the divisional round to come to a close. I'm going to save my trolling for the third segment. So all you guys out there that are watching or will ultimately be watching this via YouTube, via Twitter, via LinkedIn, via Facebook, I'm going to come back with another studio session in the third segment, because I've got to have you guys watch this as I continue to troll the Cowboys fans and Cowboys nations all over the world. But here's the deal. So the San Francisco 49ers did indeed defeat those Dallas Cowboys 19-12 in Santa Clara. Brock Purdy didn't have the greatest of games. He certainly didn't show what we've used to been or what we've been used to seeing out of him since he became the starter after Jimmy Garoppolo went down. But you know what we did see that we haven't seen from him? Or I'm sorry, you know what we did see that we have continued to see from him? He didn't make any mistakes. And that Dallas pass rush, I mean, they were in essence neutralized to a degree because they didn't wreak the havoc that we're used to them wreaking. Or wreak havoc. Oh, it's all the same thing. So what I'm saying to you guys is this, is that for two teams who obviously the strength of the team is their defense. Excuse me. Sorry about that. The strength of both squads is their defense. And to say that the 49ers pass rush was equally as neutralized as the Cowboys. But here's the thing though. Dak Prescott. And some people are trolling Dak Prescott, others are not. Let me tell you where I'm at on Dak Prescott. And I've said this before. And it just took a little while. I mean, he's been in the league now for 7-8 years. He has shown you all that he can be. He has shown you all that he is. It's going and this year, I think the window for the Cowboys is still open, but it closed a whole lot more for this particular season and in this loss to the 49ers. So the 49ers go off to Philly, and this is the matchup that excuse me. This is the matchup that many of us have wanted to see in the NFC Championship. You got the number 1 seed and the number 2 seed. What the Philadelphia Eagles did to the New York Giants and beating them 38-7, I think it's a felonious act. They should actually call the DA and have charges filed against Nick Sirianni, as well as the offensive defensive lines for the Philadelphia Eagles. And you can even throw Jalen Hurts in there as an accessory. Of course, you got to throw in there A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, as well as Miles Sanders and all those boys running the ball. So all those dudes are going to be accessories after the fact or during the fact to what they did criminally to the New York Giants. And I just want to say this about the New York Giants. Y'all get the hand clap because the season that y'all have had under first-year head coach Brian Daboll, you guys exceeded every expectation that any Giants fan out there could have. And if there's any Giants fans out there that are watching that will be listening to this, if you had expected your team to make it this far in this season, I will tell you that you are lying to your face. I will tell you that because what we've seen out of the Giants the last 3 or 4 years, yeah, Brian Daboll is that dude when it comes to coaching. I don't care about how much he is that dude, and he is that dude. But none of y'all expected the New York Giants to perform the way that they did this year, and they've got some decisions to make, and we're going to talk about that possibly a little bit in the third segment. We shall see. Okay, so let's bounce it over to the AFC because Joe Burrow. Burrowhead. Shout out to my girl Tisha C. I think she's watching a show Divided every Tuesday with Tisha C. We got a super show coming up this coming Tuesday. We got people all over the nation that's going to be chiming in as we wrap up the championship round of the NFL playoffs and look towards the Super Bowl. But Tisha C, Burrowhead, that is the new name of Arrowhead Stadium, but we're going to get to that in just a second. So Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals go into Buffalo, and they really just beat up the Buffalo Bills. And I understand that the Buffalo Bills were down a few players on the defensive side of the ball, but I think what Cincinnati did, even with their offensive line, who may be a middle of the road unit in the NFL, they kind of exposed the Buffalo Bills front seven for what they have been, particularly without Von Miller. Von Miller was brought over this year to be the closer, much like he was for the Rams last year. And it would have been kind of cool to see Von Miller win 2 championships in 2 consecutive years with 2 different teams. I actually did pick the Buffalo Bills to make it to the Super Bowl and to win it. But now they're going home, and we know the story about Damar Hamlin. We know how he was up in the luxury boxes or up in the press box in the game over the past weekend. That story is nothing short of sensational. Prayers continue to go up for him and his complete and total healing from the cardiac arrest event that he suffered at the I forgot the name of the stadium in Cincinnati. It used to be Paul Brown Stadium. It used to be Riverfront Stadium, but it's a stadium that's by the river, so we're gonna call it Riverfront Stadium, even though it's not that. So we know about all of that. But in terms of the Buffalo Bills, I mean, when you lose Von Miller and you're down so many people in your secondary, and your offensive line cannot run block, and then that puts so much more pressure on Josh Allen. You know, Josh Allen is still dealing with the elbow issue. We were thinking, or we were told, or people were saying that he's going to have Tommy John surgery during the season. That actually did not happen. I'd be really interested to see if that's going to have to take place in the offseason. Tommy John surgery in the NFL is not nearly as critical as it is in the Major League Baseball ranks. It is still a season-ending injury. And I would think that if he was going to have that surgery, he would have done it when it happened and not wait until the offseason, because that's really going to shut him down for the entire year of 2023. So I don't think that's going to happen. So Cincinnati, they go off to Kansas City, as I said, Burrowhead Stadium, where the Kansas City Chiefs await after defeating the Jacksonville Jaguars, #Duval, 27-17, I believe it was. Patrick Mahomes, I hate them. Oh my gosh, I hate them so bad. How do you have a rolled up on ankle that is a high ankle sprain, and this dude limps off the field, but Tony Pollard suffered the same or a similar injury in their game? He gets carted off the field. Patrick Mahomes limps off the field and actually comes back and helps lead that team to a victory and yet another appearance in the AFC Championship game. Second time in a row against the Bengals, 5th time in a row overall. How does that happen? And then you have Chad Henne, who I actually like Chad Henne. I think, he went to Michigan, so I'm a Michigan fan, so I like that about it. But he plays for the Chiefs, and I hate them. So this dude comes in and engineers a 98-yard drive on the very first possession that Mahomes goes out of the game. How does that happen? How in the world does that happen? And it did. And for me, I think that when that happened for the Jacksonville Jaguars, it took the wind out of their sails. And then for the Chiefs, all it did was confirm the confidence that they already have in Chad Henne, because he's done it before. He's done it before against the Browns. He's done it before, in big time situations previously, even to that. And now we have the rematch, the remix, the game within the game that everybody wanted to see in the AFC, or maybe not, because a lot of people were clamoring for Buffalo and Kansas City because of what happened in the divisional round last year. But here's the deal. I think this game right here for the Cincinnati Bengals and the Kansas City Chiefs, if you want to say that the Kansas City Chiefs have a kryptonite, it is Joe Burrow. If you want to say that the Kansas City Chiefs have a kryptonite, it is T. Higgins. And also it is Jamar Chase. And it also is Tyler Boyd. And it also is Joe Mixon. Okay? But the Chiefs, man, Patrick Mahomes is going to likely be the MVP. They have Travis Kelce. Okay? They Juju Smith-Schuster is good. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, MVS, he's good. McCole Hardman, he's okay. Why in the world does this dude have over 5,000 yards passing again? But this game is going to be different. And I'm going to break it down in the third segment as we, tell everybody out there who we believe is going to actually get to the Super Bowl. And I'm also going to I'm going to start talking about this now. Let's switch gears to off the field from on the field to off the field for just a minute, because I am up in arms. I am actually I can't say that on this show, man, but I am off to the highest point of ivity because the Carolina Panthers, who traded their best player, they obviously were tanking. You had quarterback issues all over the place. You traded for Baker Mayfield, and then you wound up cutting him. And then your interim head coach, who took over from Matt Rule, who I actually picked to be the coach of the year. What was I thinking? Steve Wilkes comes in, and he gets those guys balling to the point to where they are on the fringe of making the play, or at least making a run for the playoffs because of the NFC South and how putrid it was. But he had those dudes playing well enough to be in serious contention and consideration. So what do? They go and hire Frank Reich, who was just fired last year, or was it this year? This year by the Indianapolis Colts. And I'm trying to understand, how is the brain trust, the ownership, the upper management squad for the Panthers, how are they going to explain this to their fan base? Or they actually don't have to. But if I'm a Carolina Panther fan and I saw the way that my team performed, it's kind of reminiscent of Rich Bisaccia with the Raiders. You let Rich Bisaccia go, you bring in this clown, and then the team gets worse. So what's going to happen next year? Because what Frank Reich had in Indianapolis, he ain't got that. He's not going to have that in Carolina. He's not going to have that there. He's not going to have a Jonathan Taylor. He's not going to have an offensive line that's one of the best, if not one of the top 3 in the NFL. He's not going to have that there. So it is truly a rebuilding project in Carolina. You figure that they still have Sam Bradford, and they drafted I forgot who they drafted, but the quarterback, I can't think of his name. He went to Mississippi, University of Mississippi. I can't think of his name right now, but so they got him in there. Is he really the future of your franchise? Who knows? Because we all know how it is when a new coach, a new coordinator, a new regime comes in, and that quarterback may not be their guy, even though he was drafted in the previous regime with the expectation that at some point he's going to take over the reins. They are in a completely rebuilding situation, and are they really, those players, are they really going to play for Frank Reich the way that they did for Coach Wilkes? I don't know. We shall see. To me, it's just another slap in the face of the hiring practice of the NFL, and it continues the actual. Anyway, come on back on the other side of the break, man. We're going to get into some more of this because DeMeco Ryans is emerged as a favorite for another franchise that we all can't stand. So, Shake Back Sports Show, big day, the dopest engine in the game, Big Game Christian Sports Network. Y'all coming back and holler at us.